Welcome back. Yeah, Pooja, you was asking something in between in the previous session.
No, sir.
Okay. Hi, Jyoti. Welcome. So we will wait for some time. Meanwhile, any kind of reflection that you would like to share, you can.
Hello, sir.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Just now I started.
Yeah, morning you couldn't join, right?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
एक्चुअली मैंने किया था ज्वाइन लेकिन वो मैं ट्रैवलिंग एंड वो देन मेरे डॉक्टर का एग्जाम था ना देन
Okay.
मेट्रो ट्रेन ऐसे सब तो बस एक दो लाइन बीच बीच में सुन लेती थी
अच्छा.
तो मैं नहीं कर पाई अभी देखती हूँ कितना हो सकता है
Hmm.
अभी भी मतलब बच्चों को छुट्टी है तो होता नहीं है एक्चुअली
Hmm. Yeah, Anita, welcome back. So,
Yeah, I'm back.
yes, you were saying something in the previous session. The time we had to cut it short.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, were you saying something in the previous session? We
No,
had to.
no, no.
Okay, Sapna was saying something. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we just ended wherein we were discussing a point. Let me recollect what it was.
Hmm. Binal would be able to recollect.
Yeah,
Binal?
we were talking about choices and the burden.
Hmm.
Is it a burden? I mean, is it bit taxing if
Yes.
we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the point that we were discussing.
Right. Right. So exploring the root of the choices, whether it is taxing or not. That was the very pertinent question. So
Hmm.
yeah, Sapna also meanwhile came join. So we were discussing about uh, exploration of the source of the choice,
Hmm.
whether it is taxing or not. Now there we need to understand that if we are exploring it from the ego lens, that means if Kalyan is exploring the choices of Kalyan and trying to understand, then it will be very taxing, because what will happen, Kalyan will keep on associating with that choice, with those choices, and in this process of exploration there will be inhibitions and justifications, excuses coming up on its own because of that association with the choices. But here, if we are trying to understand what is choice, not what is Kalyan's choice. So the very nature of choices, if we look at, which is a truth lens, not an ego lens. So ego lens is very taxing. But the moment we are exploring it under the lenses of truth, without attaching to it, because if I'm not exploring Kalyan's choices, there is no attachment at all. There cannot be any attachment. And if there is no attachment, there is no taxing experience. Are you able to comprehend this?
So in this other words, it's like instead of in a particular situation, why am I sad? Maybe what which is more like a ego lens. The truth lens is when we and try to understand that why sadness would come upon anyone. I mean, why
Yes.
does that
Yes. So
definition of sadness happen?
in general, what is sadness? Why people get affected with sadness? If this exploration is done under the truth lens, then if we come back and see Kalyan's sadness, then the very pertinent question will come up, that is Kalyan not a human being? We have just explored sadness for human being. Now, how the rules will change for Kalyan? Do you see that?
Yeah.
So the kind of justification that comes up with the exploration of, or pseudo exploration, I must say, that exploration of Kalyan's choices, because Kalyan's choices will always be justified by Kalyan. So the very nature of the truth to be explored. I am angry is not the end of the world. What is anger? What is anger is the primary question to ask. Then giving the answer, that is my anger different than what we have just explored as anger? So as we are repeatedly discussing about the sensations and looking at the sensation, understanding the sensation, so let's try and understand the bodily cues through which the inquiry may be further deepened. Though observation or the inquiry is not a specified spatial aspect, that this particular specific thing let's observe is a is not an observation proposed, but another aspect to understand that when we are observing everything, then that particular thing that we were mentioning is also included. So in the similar fashion, if we explore the sensational observation, then we see that the conflict is experienced at the body level, primarily, physiological level. So conflicts are P3, P2. That means the physiological sensation triggered by perceptions are the conflicts. And denial to the conflicts, that I have conflicts, but I am in denial. This is a very conventional way of enhancing the conflict, because that's another conflict to your subject. The denial itself is another conflict. And this way, there are endless loops that we keep on forming. And as we understand that the conflicts are the products of imagination, because stagnated perceptions are nothing but imagination. This is just synonymous to imagination. It's not real. So, and that's why conflicts are just an unrealistic experience. It's not a real experience. Now, further, if we inquire the root of sensations, then lot of truths can be revealed. So one is the pathway and other is the source. So here we are actually bringing the factors or the protocols of nature cure, as commonly 8 factors are proposed in pure nature cure science for the conservation of energy, for the understanding of conservation. Again, pure nature cure science also is not a prescription based science. It is again an understanding based explorative science where the energy conservation are being explored, being understood at the first place. Then the protocols are being proposed by many practitioners, and it becomes a common practice, perhaps worldwide, to keep on proposing some protocols of nature cure. But primarily, if we talk about pure nature cure is again an observatory science. It encourages observation. So perhaps this workshop tries to culminate the psychological conditioning, pure nature cure science, and also some bit of cognitive behavioral therapy and therapeutic approach, including the Vipassana, sensational understanding and all this stuff. So there are influences in structuring of this workshop, perhaps. So in upcoming slides, we'll be seeing those 8 protocols of pure nature cure, which is commonly proposed. Most of us, we know those protocols, but under the lenses of inquiry, how we can look at those, we'll now explore together. So basically, we started our understanding of this conditioning loop of P3, P2 with the understanding of negative emotion and positive emotion. So inquiry is basically compromised with these ideas, be it negative or positive. It compromises inquiry. So each factor that we are going to explore, we will see under these 2 types of ideas, and one option is without any idea, without any choice. Ideas means choices. So under the influence of choices, what it could be, and if we are choiceless, if we are spontaneous, then what it could be. So those things we are going to explore, right? So first 4 factors. First 4 factors are the input factors. The input matters that we put inside our body, voluntarily or involuntarily, are radiation, air, water, and solid food. Radiation, air, water, and solid food. These are the inputs that we put in our body. Radiation also brings particles. Those are direct food to our bloodstream through the skin. Same, air also brings direct food to the bloodstream through the lungs. And water and solid food goes to the digestive system, and those do have respective voice of the organism. Radiation and air are involuntary reception, but water and solid food are voluntary receptions, which are triggered by the voice of the organism in terms of thirst or hunger. So now, if we look at radiation and air, we subject ourselves to radiation and air by default and simultaneously. That is why those are clubbed together, as we see here. We see it is clubbed together. So what is our natural state of being? Without any condition, without any influence. Use of open space and shades as indicated in the body. As indicated in the body. What does it mean? If there is no irritation in the body, then we are otherwise in the open space. That's the natural state of being. If we are in jungle, which is our natural state, we would have been in open space most of the time. But if it is irritating on the skin, then we go to the shade, maybe under the tree or in the cave and all those stuff. That's our natural state of being. And that's very inquiring state of being, because moment to moment we are responding to our bodily responses. Now, what could be those negative or positive idea influence state of being? One is being confined in a closed room most of the time. Why at all are we confined? We are not structured to remain confined. So if at all we are confined, we have some conditions employed due to which we are confining ourselves in this four walls and the roof, always, most of the time. So that is one type of ideas, the influence of ideas. The another type of influence of ideas, when we realize or we identify or recognize the fact of being in open space, then many times what happens, we enforce to stay in the open, ignoring the bodily cues also. Even if the skin is irritating, we are subjecting ourselves in the sun. So that's again another way of influencing our life with ideas. Because of some external knowledge, we feed ourselves that staying in open must be continued whatsoever the condition may be. So it's an obsessed way of staying out, you know. So use of confined, unventilated space, this is one idea, or obsessed stay in the open. Both actually are tools as far as the energy is concerned. Now coming to the water. Water is a liquid requirement of the body, which is indicated through thirst. And the water characteristically is tasteless. So both the things are very natural and spontaneous. Now this gets compromised when we drink without thirst, because of many prescription, perhaps, that X liter of water you have to consume and all those stuff. We put a lot of pressure onto our body and kidneys. Or enhancing the taste is another fad. You know, this is another idea driven enhancement. So the consumption of liquid becomes enhanced consumption because of the enhancement of taste. Now, another aspect is being obsessed about water. There are many proposals come in that we have to put a lot of water onto our body. So we end up compromising the thirst, and we go for that knowledge and employing that knowledge into our life, which is basically a burden. Now coming to the food. Food is quite similar to the water, which is driven by the voice of the organism as hunger. And the taste must be unmodified to provide the nutrients needed by the body. The unmodified taste contains unmodified acceptable. Definitely, if it is not acceptable, we will not be able to consume. So unmodified palatable taste, acceptable taste, contains the needed nutrients for us. If we are
Sir, can you
compromising that,
explain what is unmodified?
unmodified means the taste which is spontaneous in nature, which doesn't have any intention behind. It is not changed by any mankind. And then only, this is a very serious affair, then only the needed nutrients are there. If it is not there, what does it mean? If the taste is modified, that means
So,
the original taste is not acceptable and we are making it acceptable.
means if something is not naturally tasty
Hmm.
and we are not able to consume, if we try to consume mixing it with something, then that is what we are it was not tasty, we are mixing it with something, making it tasty and having it, but actually because it is not tasty, it is not required in the body.
Yes, so it is a burden for the body. The required nutrients are missing in that particular substance. That is why it is not tasty. And this fact is not looked into. Conventionally, it is not looked into. It is so serious, we actually made eating as an entertainment. Yes, Sapna.
What if, like, I'm observing all the kids, some people like different things, natural ones I'm talking about, like, say, for example, banana. Some kids like banana, they absolutely love it. Some people, kids absolutely hate it. Now, banana in itself is not at fault. Like, it's a natural thing and it is meant for human consumption, from what I understand. So, why would that be that some kids would find it tasty and some kids would be repulsed by it? Would it be the psychological aspect of it or it's the physiological aspect?
Both could be. Both could be. So we recommend a revisiting of this aspect. If it is a natural taste which is normally otherwise liked by human being, but someone is not able to consume it
Accept it, yeah.
for many reasons. So it could be a phase. If we are fixated that okay, in 2018 I did not have any attraction towards banana, so today also I'll ignore banana. One must revisit. Whenever hungry, one must revisit banana again. He may end up liking it if it is otherwise likable by human being. There are a lot of chemical
Also,
changes due to which.
it is possible that like because we are having so much of modified taste food that our senses have got
Numbed.
yeah,
Yes.
so we are not able to like the natural taste is seems less tasty because the
We are
taste
overwhelmed
created
with the artificial
is,
taste.
yeah, it
No,
is
but
very
in
strong.
some cases, the same child might absolutely love apples.
Yeah.
Dislike banana, but love apples. So what happens then?
Yeah.
This food is natural.
Maybe
No,
that
nothing has been
particular
added to.
taste, the taste for that particular thing is desensitized for that individual.
Okay.
It's a possibility.
So sometimes what happens is people who have too much of sweet food, like the created sweets, they end up liking less of the sweet fruits because they don't find them sweet anymore.
In fact, what I've realized is, from my observation with I have a very large family. The kids, when I give them a banana instead of a sweet, they later come back to me that we are happier having the banana rather than the sweet. These are people who are very high on sweet. They crave sweetness. That's why I offer them a sweet food, which they were trying to, get it through some other sweet. That definitely wasn't sugar addiction, but the sugar addiction also happens because of a need. Because they were eating too much cooked food, then your body starts craving something, maybe some sweet to get that energy, if you may call it that energy. But then offer an banana instead. They literally let go of the sweet foods when they were given a natural form of food, of sweetness. So that's my confusion there, that the same child with, like, there's a group of children. You give one, some of them will like apples, some of them will like only bananas, or might have a repulsion or a mix of both. So what is it that's driving them? Both of them are natural foods, not enhanced or put any flavor or whatever. Then what is the whole concept behind it then? Or is it just a phase?
Pinpointing the reason would be difficult here. But what aspect we can observe here is the unmodified taste, which is otherwise likable for human being, but for some reason it is not being liked by this child or this individual, which is a case of desensitization. Which is a case of desensitization, and desensitization may happen for many reasons. And it is momentary. If we are subject to the unmodified, spontaneous, tendency-based taste repeatedly, then it gets resensitized. So after some time, one may start liking.
Yeah, it is possible that after some time, something that you were not liking before, it's possible to like it naturally, like not as if you are trying to like it or something, but you might just end up liking it after some time of resensitization.
Yes. Yes.
And also, it is even after all resensitization, it is still possible that someone doesn't like a particular taste. So that's also possible. Like maybe that is not really required.
That's very
then.
personal. That's very personal, customized aspect. And it's a very physical aspect, perhaps. It's may not be a psychological choice. If the source of that taste is nature, not a modified source, not a kitchen. So eating without hunger. And that's possible when we modify the taste. When we modify the taste, then we overeat. Because stimulation, under the influence of stimulated pleasure, we are numb. We are numb, desensitized of our pain. Because both happen simultaneously. Stimulation of pleasure and suppression of pain. So we end up overeating. We end up putting burden on the body, and that's a depletion, clear-cut depletion. And it's a major depletion rather, because it's an ongoing. So eating happens for a very small spell of time, but the impact of the eating goes around the clock. The digestion, assimilation is a mammoth task that we have put in. So it's a continuous toll on the energy that we are subject to. Yeah, ma'am. Want to say something?
Kalyan, who is this Sai solution? The other one? Is that Shilpi?
It's the iPad screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, so you're using 3 devices.
No, I see
There is
two.
a Sai solution.
No, I see Kalyan and a Sai solution, which is the iPad screen on my participant list.
But iPad screen is right now on the. Okay, got it. You've signed in through 2 devices, you're saying.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's what is the usually online sessions. Yeah. Shilpi, I think, is engaged somewhere. She will not be able to join. Message. Yes. So, yeah. Any proposal, observation? Anita, Sapna, Jyoti.
Oh yeah, I
Nothing.
would like to further inquire into this physical or physiological aspect of accepting or rejecting even natural food. So what I realized was maybe, there's also a psychological aspect wherein the parents must have kept on insisting, no, you must have banana because it
Yes,
contains
there
so
is a
and so.
possibility. There is a
There
possibility.
is
Yeah,
a possibility there of that.
Yes,
it's
yes, yes,
possible.
yes.
But is there a physical condition or is there a possibility also of at a particular time or phase of your life, your body might be requiring something which is in the apple rather than in the banana?
Yes,
That is
that's
why the
also
organism
Yes,
chooses the
it's
apple rather than the banana.
is
it's
possible.
possible. In
That is
fact,
also
at certain times of the day also it's possible. Like many times in the morning, um, there are some fruits you prefer in the morning.
the morning, yes,
At times,
and some in the evening, yes.
so you feel like having something watery in the morning, and something like a banana in the afternoon
The
or
answer in the
evening.
evening, yes, and
That's
sweeter.
also possible. Like I don't see probably like we may still say that uh, of course when there is hunger, but if there is hunger, whatever is available we will eat. Um, but we may still have something like a bodily signal for having a particular fruit, the even the unmodified taste at some time probably. I don't know if that is natural.
Yes, Jyoti.
Sir, actually, what happens in 3 days, means, I don't know if related to this or not. 3 days से मैं मुरमुरा खा रही हूँ. I don't know, means if there is any means, ये सोडियम लो सोडियम बोला था, तो मे बी मुरमुरा में थोड़ा बहुत तो सोडियम होता है. बाकी का तो मैंने कुछ खाया नहीं है, लेकिन वो 3 दिन से जा रहा है. तो क्या ये सोडियम की कमी की वजह से मैंने बॉडी की नीड है या बस ये माइंड का
नहीं नहीं,
ईटिंग है? आई डोंट
साइकोलॉजिकल है.
नो.
ये तो क्लियर कट साइकोलॉजिकल है ना. आपको कोई बताया? आप सोडियम का नाम कैसे जानते हो? किसी ने बाहर से ही बताया है ना.
पता है.
हाँ, और ये भी नॉलेज आपके पास कहीं बाहर से ही आया है जो मुड़मुड़ा में सोडियम है.
हाँ,
तो दोनों को तो
हाँ.
डॉट डॉट कनेक्ट करके आप खा रहे हो.
नहीं, मैं कनेक्ट करके नहीं खा रही हूँ, लेकिन 3 दिन से तो जा रहा है, तो पता
हाँ,
नहीं है मतलब
नहीं,
क्या
कनेक्ट
है.
करके ही खा रहे हो. ये फिजिकल रिक्वायरमेंट कैसे हो
Hmm.
सकता है? वो तो आप मेंटली आप प्रपोज किए हो खुद को, फिर जाके खा
अच्छा.
रहे हो. हाँ हाँ. इजंट इट? ये
नहीं नहीं.
क्लियरली तो दिख रहा है. मतलब मुझे तो दिख गया, पर पता नहीं आपको क्या लग रहा है. इसको आपको क्या लग रहा है? ये आपके अंदर से
नहीं,
कैसे आवाज
मुझे
आएगा?
पता नहीं, मैं अभी सुन रही
नहीं,
थी तो ऐसे अचानक आ गया.
सारे लेयर कैसे डिसाइफर होगा? आपके अंदर से पता चलेगा जो आपको सोडियम चाहिए, फिर आपको ये भी पता चलेगा जो मुड़मुड़े में सोडियम है, फिर मुड़मुड़ा बनाना भी पड़ेगा. ये सारी चीज कैसे नेचुरली हो सकता है?
नहीं नहीं, नहीं है.
हाँ? तो ये तो माइंड ड्रिवन दिख रहा है.
ओके. नहीं मतलब पता नहीं, और कल से लेक्चर सुनने के बाद तो पूरा ये डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है. एनर्जी और लो हो जाती है सर. मतलब ये सब प्रैक्टिकली कैसे करें, हाँ मतलब एक्सेप्ट कैसे करें वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। मतलब ये सब
पहले हम
एक
ये
एक
देख
लेवल।
सकते हैं कि ऐसा है या नहीं, क्या करना है वो अ, अपने आप से कुछ ना कुछ जो भी होगा। बट अगर हमको ये पता चल रहा है कि इसमें से जो भी हो रहा है इसमें से सच क्या है, झूठ क्या है, तो जो भी झूठ है वो जब हमको दिखने लगेगा तो फिर उसके बेसिस में, उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग के बेसिस में हो सकता है कुछ एक्शन निकल के आए। लाइक हम लोग अगर ऐसा एक डिसीजन ले लेते हैं कि अ, ये जो अभी समझ में आ गया उसके बेसिस में हम अब ये डिसाइड करेंगे, सपोज कि ये करना है, ऐसा ऐसा करना है, ऐसा ऐसा नहीं करना है, तो हम वापस से एक्चुअली कुछ सोच के और एक्शन, सोच के बेसिस पे ही एक्शन कर रहे हैं। सो कुछ अजम्पशन
मतलब
आ जाता है वहां पे।
मतलब प्लानिंग कर कर ही, या तो जो कुछ समझ में आए उसके बेस पर ही एक्शन ले सकते हैं, चेंजेस कर सकते हैं।
सर आपको ज्योति की आवाज क्लियरली आ रही है क्या?
थोड़ा कट कट के आ रहा है, बट आई कैन कंप्रीहेंड व्हाट शी इज
अच्छा,
आस्किंग।
मुझे लास्ट वो क्या बोली समझ में नहीं आया।
So action, Jyoti ji, actually is very much assured in life. We need not to worry that what kind of action should I take and all those stuff. Instead of that, if we are understanding the things, action may emerge. So Pooja ji will take your question or reflection in the next session. It's going to end in few seconds.
Okay.